Hey there. This is Scott Ewert, the DIY Web Guy, and I wanted to just give a quick overview of Webinar Jam. So I found Webinar Jam about a month ago, I guess. There had been a big kind of push and launch with everything, and I bypassed it because I just didn't want another product and I was focused on something else. But I finally took a look at it because I wanted to do a series of webinars, and after I looked into it and actually got the product, I'm a huge fan of it, and let me tell you why. So there is the traditional Google Hangout, right? And that gives you the opportunity to be live on camera, and it gives you the opportunity to record the broadcast that you do on the Hangout, and it goes onto your YouTube channel. And all the people that attend the Hangout become viewers on your video, and you have the opportunity to then go in and tag that video and then start to get traffic to it. So it gives you an asset after you're done, and Google loves their Hangouts, so they will give them higher priority in traffic. The problem though with Google Hangouts is that they're very hard to figure out. They're hard to figure out because even for very technology savvy people, you've got to set up, you get a link for the viewers, you've got to schedule it, you've got a link for the people who are actually on the camera during the Hangout, and you've got to publish the link, and the email doesn't send sometimes, and there's all these issues around the Hangouts. But Webinar Jam is what I found is it takes all of that away. Because what Webinar Jam is it is a sort of a layer over the top of Google Hangouts. So if you imagine you log into Webinar Jam and you create a webinar, and I'll show you how you do that in a minute and all the great features that come along with it, but it actually creates and starts the Hangout for you and does all the publishing and everything that you need to do. So it takes away all that complexity of Google Hangouts, but it gives you all the benefits along with what you get with Webinar Jam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Webinar Jam itself, and I'm going to show you a little bit about how it works. So when you first log into Webinar Jam, you have a couple of main things that you need to be aware of. One is My Webinars, and that just shows you the webinars that you've had and lets you get your links and other things about it. And then there's the option here to create a new webinar, and then there's analytics that you can run. So let me just walk through a couple of, I'm going to just create a new webinar and show you how it works. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on new webinar. Now what happens is that you come into this screen here, and the thing that's great about this is that they have a lot of great tutorials. So the first tutorial just explains how you go through the whole process of configuring a new webinar. The second step is that you go through this general, where you're going to go ahead and give this webinar a name and a title. So this is for your internal reference, right? And then the title, this is the external. And then you can give it a description so people can see that, because what happens is that you can set up admins that will be the people who are on the Hangout, so their face gets shown in the bottom, right, and they have the ability to speak during the webinar. And then there's people that you invite, and you send them a link, and the title and description will be inside of here. So I call this the external description. Okay, now you have the ability to schedule your webinar, so you can start one on the fly. And this is great if you want to just even have a team meeting, or you want to, I meet with my accountability partner a couple times a week, and we use this. So I just go ahead and start that, and it creates it, and creates the Hangout and invites him, and does all that stuff. So you can do right now, or you can schedule it for later, where you can come in here, give a date and a time and the time zone, and it will go ahead and do that for you. So I'm going to leave it at right now. And then this is where you set up the admin. So you just put in your name and the email address. Doesn't have to be Gmail. It does if you're starting the webinar, you need to have a Gmail account. But anybody who is a presenter doesn't have to have one. And you just check that they're an active speaker. And whoops, I'm going to go ahead and set this up here. Whoops. Okay, and then you just say save module. What that's going to do is it's going to send me an email to here that's going to have me acknowledge that I'm going to be on the webinar, and then it's going to give me an admin link to go ahead and start the webinar. So the next thing is that you can set this up to either have it be a free webinar or you can charge. So this is what's really cool. One of the really cool things about it, when you start a Hangout, it's free for people to attend. And a lot of webinars you're going to do are going to be free, but there's going to be some times where you have huge value and you want to charge to register, small fee just to register to come on and get the value there, or depending on what it is, you could charge more. So you can charge for people, and it's when they register, it's not when they attend. So that's a really great feature here. So notifications. So you can activate email reminders. So they have a built-in email system that you can use, and you check that and it gets sent out from their server. Now you can set up your own email server so it comes from you. So there's a process that you can do that as well. So you can do a welcome email, and this gets sent out immediately, and you have control over what's in there. So you set your subject line. You can update the body of the email. Note that it brings in all this information for you: the title, the description, the presenter, the date and the time. It actually gives the link of the webinar when it goes out in the email. And then it gives you the ability to, like I said, write your own email. It gets you, your sign off here that you can fill in and customize. So it will also send a last minute email. So it sends a starting soon email as a reminder. Okay, so that's really cool. So you can again fill that in. There's pre-webinar notifications. So you can set these up so 12 hours before you can get people excited and pumped up to attend. So again, you can set up an email there, and you can do another pre-webinar. And then you also have post-webinar notifications. So you can say something like, hey, the webinar was a great success. Here is the replay link. Now the other thing that you can do is you can activate text messages and phone calls. So this is a bit of a setup here to do, but once you do that, then what will happen is they'll get text reminders for the webinar, so outside of email. So it's very, very cool that you can do that, and that's one of the great features of Webinar Jam. Now another one is your autoresponder. So what you can do is anybody who registers for your autoresponder, you can set it up so that they go on to your, for example, your Aweber list. So now you're not only registering people and tracking them in Webinar Jam, but they are going into your Aweber list, and then you can utilize that list after the webinar to send them the replay, to take a poll about how things were. I mean, you can do, and then they're on your list forever until they unsubscribe. So it lets you have that integration set up, and it's just a one-time thing that you set it up for Aweber. You set up a list inside, and it'll go ahead and add those people that get registered for the email there. So you can customize a thank you page. So after they register, you can do a short video thanking them to register, and that's something else that's really cool as well. Now I believe it was back on general. Somewhere in here you can do a welcome video as well. Okay, I'm not going to mess around with that, but you can, as I'm showing you this, you can do a welcome video. So they come to your webinar page to register, and you can have a quick video that tells them about the webinar and encourage them to register. Also, I wanted to point out every one of these modules has video help, so it will walk you through how to set up and run every single one of these. So the countdown, so you can do a custom video. So if somebody comes early, it'll have a countdown clock, and it'll have your video there saying, hey, I'll be with you, in a few minutes. Hang tight, we're going to have a great webinar tonight, whatever that short video is. And all you do is create the video and then give it a link inside of here to a YouTube video. Then the other thing is live. So what you can do is, this is another super great thing, is that you can put up offers. Now these offers can be, so I had a webinar, for example, and I gave away during the webinar a free ebook that was about traffic. I gave away, I talked about another product that I was showing during the webinar, and I gave them my link. And what happens here is that you set up these offers, and you give it a title, and you can put an image there, and then the link that button goes to, and there can be a message there too. So what happens is, over in the Hangout over on the right hand side, you're running the webinar and you say show offer, and you click it, and then all of a sudden this image with this title and name show up on the right hand side, and a link, so people during the webinar can go over and download whatever you have to offer. If it's free or if you have a product that you're selling, you want to make sure that you click this open in a new browser tab, because that will take them in a new browser over there and they won't leave your webinar. Okay, you can do pre-recorded videos. You can also enable social media share buttons for Facebook and Twitter, so people can do that while they're on your webinar. So you can offer this so they can see replay, and also the share media buttons. Now the good thing about this, well, there's many good things. Hopefully I have done this. If you do have Webinar Jam, you can put your affiliate link. So for example, I had a webinar and I had 2 people buy Webinar Jam that just watched the video. So I was able to make affiliate commissions without even trying, because they saw the format and really loved it. Okay, so that's all there is to it. Then you just click on Publish Webinar, and then you would, I'm not going to do this because it'll make it live, but I'll go ahead. Just say publish the webinar, and it just says your webinar has been created, and then it emails the links to the admin. So whoever you set up as admins will get an email. They acknowledge that they want to be part of the webinar, and then it'll give them the link that they need to when they join it. Okay, so now what I want to show you is, this was a webinar that I had, and it enables me to get my links. So this webinar is already done, but what's so awesome about it is that this link right here was the link that I originally sent out to invite people to the webinar. But it also became the replay for the webinar. So if somebody didn't get it and they see an email later and they're like, oh, they go and click on that link, then it's going to get their name and email and they'll be able to see the replay. So that is just one really, really great thing, and it's going to track all of those people as they email and be part of your analytics. So the other thing is the analytics, and that's just going to show you over here. You can select the webinar that you want to look at, and I'll show you that one, and do a display analytics, and I want all sessions. So it's going to show me, you know, all of these people. I had 114 people on the page, 101 people registered. I had 19 live people and 54 replays. Okay, so that is the, and then if you do pays and if you had sales and you had all that set up inside of there, you can do that. You can also download the full list of people, so in case you don't have that integration to Aweber, then you can get their information. Now the last thing I want to do is just pop over and show you that once you get an email invitation, okay, so here's the email invitation that your admins get, and you agree to be a presenter, then you, once you click on agree, then it's going to come here and give you this page, and it's going to show you the information, and you just click on your unique admin link, and then I'm going to come over here and put this into the window. And since I'm the admin, it's actually going to go ahead and start that Google Hangout for me. So it'll come through this process and start the Google Hangout. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start that out. So I'm just going to give it the same name as I gave the webinar. And then I can click Start Hangout on Air. And when it does that, then it's going to go ahead and do the starting. So if you're familiar with Google Hangouts, you'll see that that's what's happening here. It's showing Google Plus. It's opening up the Webinar Jam app, and here I am. Hello. So then you can run the Google Hangout. So anybody that you invited as an admin is going to show up down here, and then you can share your screen. You have chat that you can do. This pop-ins, that's what I was telling you about before, that you could enable an offer. So when you click on that, I'm not sure if it's going to work at this point. Oh yeah, there you go. So if you can do new offers on the fly. You can recreate that offer. You have pre-populated that offer, and you can go ahead and display that at a certain time. And for the viewer, it's going to show up right over here on the right-hand side. So you can do polls. You can look at the attendees. You can do chat and enable that. So all sorts of things that you can do here. Okay, so that just takes me back over then to Webinar Jam, and that's really what I wanted to show you as part of this demonstration today. So again, just to summarize, Webinar Jam is a layer on top of Google Plus that for Google Hangouts that enables you to go through and set up all sorts of things from videos and registrations and integration with your Aweber, and you can charge for webinars, and it runs on that platform so that what happens is that once the Hangout is done, you have an asset that's recorded. I looked at this compared to other things. I mean, GoToMeeting, very expensive monthly. Webinar Jam is a yearly fee that when I signed up for it was $297, and but GoToMeeting, if you want to have webinars and run those, GoToMeeting can run, I think it's like $99 a month. It's kind of crazy. And you really get a lot of really great features here that you don't get over with GoToMeeting. All right, so I just wanted to show that to you today. I hope that you got a lot of value and you learned a little bit about Webinar Jam, how it can help you with your business by enabling you to do all this tracking and have webinars and share value with other people out there in the world of the internet. So this is Scott Ewert signing off. Thanks for being here, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.